Today we are going to go over your circumference and area review. I'm going to do a few problems with you, and then you need to finish the rest of the problems on your own. Make sure you take a picture of this and submit. There is no answer document, so you're going to just take a picture. You had 3 assignments to turn in before tomorrow's test. If you have not done so already, that's your circumference and area of a circle notes, your finding area and circle of a circumference from Friday. Yesterday you did the matching, and then today review and tomorrow test. Okay, so here are the 3 formulas that we have learned during this section of Unit 5. And we have 2 formulas for circumference and 1 formula for area. Okay, so number 1 says to find the area of the circle, and it gives you this line. This line only goes halfway through from the center to the edge of the circle, so halfway is your radius. If we're finding area, we have a formula that says area equals pi r squared. Okay, so we're going to plug in, we're finding area, so A equals, we're going to use 3.14 for pi, and then radius is 2 squared. Okay, so to solve this, remember we're going to first do our exponents. So area equals 3.14, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, and then go off to the side, 3.14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And then 4 times 3 is 12. We have 2 numbers to the right of the decimal, so we're going to move that in 2 times. 1, 2. Okay, and area equals 12.6 yards squared. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe there is an answer document for this. Just double check Canvas. If you see it under Tuesday in this week's module, then obviously you need to do it, okay? Usually when I have multiple choice worksheets, there's an answer document, but just double check. We're going to jump to number 4. So number 4 is slightly different because it asks for diameter. It says find the diameter of a circle with an area of 24 miles. Okay, so if we have a circle here, okay, and it tells us the area equals 24 miles, and it wants us to find the diameter, that's that line that goes all the way across. Okay, and so area, oh, I'm sorry, this is the one that I was telling y'all about last week before I was gone, that anytime it asks us to find diameter in 7th grade, we can only know circumference. So this is where we need to switch this one to circumference. Okay, so it's not area that we know, it's circumference. Okay, so if it wants us to find D, we have 2 formulas to pick from, and we obviously would use the formula with D. C equals pi D. Okay, so then 24 equals, pi is 3.14, and we don't know diameter, so we keep our D there. Okay, so if you look at this problem, it is a normal one-step equation problem. So we're going to divide by 3.14 and divide by 3.14. Okay, so that goes to 1, and we have D left over. And go off to the side. 24 divided by 3.14. So remember, we don't divide by decimals, so we want to move the decimal over 2 times to the right. And move the decimal over 2 times to the right. Okay, so we have 314 instead of 3.4. And we have 2400 instead of 24. You want to make sure you still move that decimal up, just in case we have to add zeros, we know where our decimal goes. Okay, so 314 does not go into 2, it does not go into 24, and it doesn't go into 240. So we need to go off to the side and say 314 times, I think 8 might be too much, so let's try 7. So 4 times 7 is 28. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 2 is 9. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Let's just see 8 just in case. 8 times 4 is 32. And then 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. And then 3 times 8 is 24 plus 1 is 25. Okay, so that's too much. So 7 times, and then 7 times 314 is 2198. And then we need to subtract. So we're going to make that a 10. We're going to make this a 9. We're going to make this a 3. Okay, so 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 9 is 0. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so we do need to add that 0 in and bring it down. And so we're going to go to the 10th place value. So 314 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. So 6 times minus 18, 84. And borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6. I have to borrow again and make that an 11. Makes that a 9. 1. So this is 136. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Normally when we round to the nearest tenth, we need this place value right here in the hundredths. But if there is an answer document, I put the parameters at 7, where you're good if we stop here, okay? So 7.6, I didn't want to say too much because then I'm going to give you all the answers to how I do that. So, anywho, this is the answers. The answer, 7.6 miles is your diameter across the circle. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more problems with you. The next one is going to be number 6. So you for sure have one like this on your test tomorrow, so make sure you are paying attention. Again, when finding radius or circumference in 7th grade, you can only know circumference. So it's asking us to find the circumference with a radius of 15 millimeters. So we have the circle, and it said that our radius is 15. That means that it's that line that goes halfway through, okay, and this is 15. And so when they give us radius for circumference, we have circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, so I want you to plug in and solve for circumference, and press play when you have finished. Just a spot check. When I plug into this formula, I do multiply my whole numbers 2 times 15 first, just because it's a lot easier. If you didn't do that's okay, but just a heads up for next time. Okay, so you should have gotten 9,420, and then you have 2 decimals to the right of the decimal here, and so we plug that back in by going to the left here and getting circumference equals 94.2 millimeters. Okay, but that's not our answer because it asks of all 3 lollipops. So what are we going to do here to find the circumference of all 3? We have one more step. What is that? So if you said multiplication, you are correct. We're going to take the circumference of 94. .2, and we're going to multiply it by 3. So we're going to take the circumference of one circle, and since they're all the same, we're going to just multiply. That's one number to the right of the decimal. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. And then we're going to go in one time. So circumference of all 3, C equals 282.6 millimeters. Again, that is for sure on your test tomorrow. So make sure if you don't understand this, you rewatch it, cover up your work, and redo it tonight. All the things to study for math test. Okay, so now we're going to jump to number 8. Number 8 says, if the circumference of a circle is 96 feet, what is the radius? So this again is asking for radius when dealing with circumference. So we're going to use the formula C equals 2 pi r. So it told us that the circumference is 96. So that means that's what we're plugging into the formula. So if we have C equals 2 pi r, then instead of C equals on the plug-in step, we would write 96 equals 2. We know that pi is 3.14, and we don't know radius. Okay, so here inside this formula, so earlier we plugged in for C right here, and we only had one step, which was to divide. Okay, but because we're plugging into a different formula, we actually have one step before we divide, which is multiplying these two numbers. So 96 equals 2 times 3.14. We're just doubling all the numbers. That's 6.28r. Okay, so now here we have a one-step equation. It's multiplication, so we're going to do the inverse operation, which is to divide. Okay, I want you to press pause and divide this and press play when you have finished. Okay, so you should have gotten A 12 or 15.3. Make sure you continue working. Be productive in class, please, and get this completed, and then you will submit at the end of class. Your test is tomorrow. Good luck.